Affected wife. Halima can stand up, please. One. Uma, stand up. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. These 4 wives you have seen have produced 27 kids for me, and I'm still counting.
I must bring to the knowledge of this house a little anecdote. What you told me some time ago. You told me it was getting late. No, don't beg me. You told me it was getting late around 7 o'clock, and there were many children playing in front of your house in Kano, in your compound. About 8, 9. And you got worried and you went out. And you told the children, come on. What are you doing? Is this time of that you people should go home, go to your homes. And one of them said to you, Haba Baba, this is my house. So he was one of those 27 children. But unfortunately, I guess the more the merrier. You get my point. Continue.
You get the point now. Welcome to Njenje Media TV. My name is Mazi Ezoke. Once more, this is Njenje Media TV, and today is the 26th of January, Wednesday, the 26th of January, 2022. Join me as we explore the topic of discussion this evening. Once more, welcome to Njenje Media TV. So, everyone, welcome back. Now, we live in a country where things doesn't make sense. Here we are, a man comes to the National Assembly where men and women ought to discuss things of national importance, and all he can say to the House of Assembly is that he wants to inform them that he now has 28 children. A couple of months ago, that video that I played was from 2020. That is 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he had 27 children. 2 years later, he has 28 children. Now he's boasting that he's going to have minimum of 30 children before the year 2023. Now, pause for a moment. Those of you who are good at mathematics, you might help us to do the following calculations. Now, if you divide 30 by 4, what is that going to give you? If you divide 30 by 4, that's going to be giving you about 7.5 children. So let's assume that each of those 4 wives have 7 children for him. That will now mean times 4 that we now have today is going to be 28, and exactly he has 28 children. Now imagine one wife, 7 children, and this is a national policy, and this is supposed to be something that we will waste our time discussing because this person cannot control the stuff in between his legs, is it? There is no other way to do it. But again, what do I know? I like the position taken by my lovely crew at Arise TV this morning. And let's have a listen. Let's have a chat as usual. And let's see the position they took, if they are going to agree with me.
Hello, Rufai. Good morning, viewers. Let's take a look at what's trending today.
Catch the fire.
Amazing. Now, we're going to... Oh, I like that, Rufai. I do. Now, let's talk about the fact that babies are reigning for the House of Representatives Majority Leader Alhassan Ado Doguwa. He has welcomed his 28th child. Yes, you could say congratulations, I guess. Now, Alhassan Ado Doguwa, during plenary, this was on Tuesday, January 25th, he said his 28th child was born in the last 24 hours, and He was responding to congratulatory messages, especially one from another minority leader, Ndudi Elumelu. Now, the All Progressive Congress lawmaker who represents Dogowa Tudunwada federal constituency has 4 wives, and he disclosed that he intends to increase the number of his children to 30 before the 2023 elections, as he is in his 50s and he is still active. Now, when I think of this story, all I just think is, to be honest, I just hope he is adequately and efficiently looking after all 28 children as they are right now.
You know, many people actually think that having many children, just for having many children's sake, is that if you can afford them, just to buy them clothes and feed them, that's what it takes to have many children. Having many children means you need to have time to bond with them, to also have time to engage in activities.
You're not just, getting less than average, and obviously growing up to become youths that would eventually start looking for jobs and adding to the already exuberant amount of Nigerians that are unable to contribute to the society as a result of the lack of opportunities.
Right, Kachi, this is one of those topics. My personal view, and I'm only going to talk about myself, I don't really try and dictate what other people do with regards to their family planning, is that nobody can afford to have lots and lots of children, even if you're a centi-billionaire, because it takes more than even just money to raise children. So and just generally the way we're heading in terms of resources being scarce, in terms of climate change and what have you, I am of the belief that everybody should have 2 children. I know I'm going to get some arguments even from my colleagues here, but personally, that's just
I mean, even from myself.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think smaller families now, because I just don't see how it's sustainable. In Nigeria, we're looking at having 400 million Nigerians by 2050. That is staggering. And look at where we are now. We can barely provide for our children, such that, to go back to the story you shared with us yesterday, the story of Hanifa, and so many other children that are killed, abused, trafficked in this country. And nobody bats an eyelid. Like, we go, oh, that's a shame, and we just get on with our lives, because there's just so many kids, and nobody cares. It's a problem. However, on the other hand, look at China and what they tried to do when they tried to manage their population, and they had that really draconian policy of 1 child per family, and there were forced abortions and all kinds of other horrors that were visited on people in China. And now they're having to reverse it because their birth rate has plummeted so...
Well, Tundu. I do agree with you. There is no need to have these number of children. 2 is fine. 3 is fine. 4, in my view, is also fine, but probably could be an overkill. 5, oh, Jesus Christ. For some weird reason, my sorry about that. For some weird reason, my internet is playing up. Okay, so pardon me for that. Now, please, if you're joining me for the first time, kindly please subscribe. Just hit the like button on the platform you are joining me on. If you can just quickly hit the like button, just like the stream, and share the stream, if you may, with others as well. Again, I do apologize for that slight break in transmission. Now, having said that, let's continue.
1988, when Nigeria came up with a national population policy that has not been implemented. Now, as at 1988, Nigeria had average size of family, average, number of children per family, 6. At least that's what the demographers told us. And the objective under that national population policy was to reduce the number of children per household to 4. But nobody has followed it since then. That national population policy has not been implemented. And I say that as a resource person for the National Council for Population and Environmental Activities at that time. So it was one of the subjects that I, focused on. Now, you have on the floor of the House of Representatives the fact that the majority leader having child number 28, becoming a matter of urgent national importance, with the minority leader, Didier Lumelu, congratulating him, and Alassane Ado Dogua, that's the name of the majority leader, boasting that in fact, by 2023, he will increase the number to 30. And that he's a very active man. He's in his 50s. And that...
I would like to let you
know. For many of you who just joined me late, I will replay this video again for you to see how and what we're talking about. When he had 27 children, he came to the National Assembly and with his wives to introduce them and to announce that he had 27 children. And you know the tragedy of it, that in his confession to the Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajàbíàmílà, that he did not know. He saw children playing and told them to go back. He didn't know that they were his children. Can you get the tragedy? These are Amajiris in the making.
That with me today here are my 4 respected wives.
Now, see, Alassane Ado Dogua. With him here are his 4 wives. 4 freaking wives. In National Assembly, where terrorists are killing people in his backyard, where he cannot travel from Abuja to Kano or Kaduna by road, where he cannot go to the market without heavy armed guard, in a National Assembly of a nation in distress, a nation befallen by calamity. That is what
Halima can stand up, please. 1. Uma, stand up.
You see, showcasing his 4 wives in a National Assembly. Pause for a moment and think about it. He just want to...
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. These 4 wives you have seen have produced 27 kids for me, and I'm still counting.
See, 2 years ago, he informed the National Assembly that these 4 wives had produced 27 children for him, and he is still counting. In the year 2022, he's come back to tell the same National Assembly that he has added 1. They are now 28. In the same vein, he's promising the National Assembly that he's going to add 2 more before 2023. And by implication, if he does, he is going to be making a request that any household that has 30 kids or more should be granted a polling unit. You think you're joking? That's
to achieve that feat in 2023, he will recommend, as part of the amendment of the Electoral Act.
Did you hear that? Let me replay that again.
With the minority leader, Didier Lumelu, congratulating him, and Alassane Ado Dogua, that's the name of the majority leader, boasting that in fact, by 2023, he will increase the number to 30. And that he's a very active man. He's in his 50s. And that, in fact, if he is able to achieve that feat in 2023, he will recommend, as part of the amendment of the Electoral Act, the fact that the Nigerian government should consider creating a polling unit in every household where there are 30 children.
Now, don't think that this is a joke. Did you just hear what Ruben Abati just said? He is, in as much as he made it as a joke. But people, if you're not watchful, you will see, you wake up one day. I mean, we're in this country. Someone woke up one day and all you hear is that the name of the country should be changed into UAR. You're here where in a National Assembly, people are just basically making nonsense of themselves. People whom you think that they should have gray matters somewhere upstairs. But again, that is not the issue. That is not the case, and that has never been the case. Where mundane issues are brought to the fore, and the people, north, west, south, east, everywhere are being killed, and those who are supposed to speak on their behalf, those whom in the social contract have yielded their will and power to them in order for them to act on their behalf. But no, they won't act on their behalf. Rather, it is very easy for them to come and say, wow, we have now 48 children. Sick, isn't it? Sick, 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 sick. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and please kindly like the video. And some of you who have liked the video on YouTube, on Facebook, thank you very much. Ogechi Kedife, Alex Ade Wale, thank you very much for doing the needful. We continue. Let's listen more.
From a man that is Varai. That's the quality of debate you get in the House of Representatives of Nigeria. And then the speaker himself waited and said, okay, you mean you will work seriously towards that? And the man again said, yes, he will achieve that. Okay, if all of us are producing 30 children, then the projection in 1988 that, by year 2000, Nigeria will have 160 million people, and that may be a problem in terms of resources available. Now, This is 2022. Our population is already over 200 million. And we're being told that by the year 2030, Nigeria will be one of the most populous countries in the world, with implications for infrastructure, for urban planning.
Anyway, that is obviously the implications are well known. But let me hear Rufai's view.
The constituents who elected this majority leader, should take note of this. That instead of this...
Well, I mean, but come off it. How can you be calling the constituents as if the constituents don't know what they voted for, as if the constituents don't like what is happening? You are in this same country when one of them said something similar. Was it not Alhaji Kazaure when you're talking about child, birth control? When somebody tells you that it is illegal and not right to marry a girl that is 15 or 16, and they tell you, that the age of marriage or the age of childbearing is when a child develops breasts. I mean, you look at these people and you think, are they only interested in a teenager's breast or what? I mean, come on, give me a break, people.
Discussing serious matters. He's going there to discuss his contribution to Nigerian population.
So it just shows the problems with Nigeria and how we have missed it. And I know that with right conversations and right leadership, we will get it again in this country. We have population growth pegged at 3%.
We will.
And the funny thing about population growth is that year on year, it has eclipsed economic growth. And that's a ticking time bomb. So 3% is added every year to the population. Across the same 923,000 square kilometers we've always had since the 60s. And we are not putting infrastructure in place to take in the new population we're getting, and there's a burden on society. Look at other nations, Britain, Italy, and the likes. At independence, had about 40 million people, just like we had in this country. But when you check those other populations, population growth has been maybe 0.3 or 0.2%. British population is about 70, 80 million now. Italy is about less than that.
No, Italy, and Britain and others, they don't know how to go into the Hazard room, right? It's only Nigeria. Well, when people are jobless, but this guy is not jobless. He can only be a quack in himself there, and we just producing children, children you do not have any plans for. There are no amenities. Everybody, if you come down south, any recreational center that a government leaves and another government comes in, they want to sell it. You go to the north, it's the same thing. You go to northwest, it's amajeries everywhere, where children, you give birth to children you do not want. You have no single plans of how to take care of them. Yeah, this one says he's in the National Assembly, but he barely knows his own children. How can he? Maybe he has a register. We destroy anything that we see. That's why, no one actually thinks about the future. That's why you will see a government, I think that was under the former governor of Enugu State, Sullivan. You see a government destroy the only polo park we had in Enugu, adjacent where you today in Enugu, where you have the ShopRite. That is why you will go to Onitsha housing, where you had public swimming pool built by the German Meteorological Training Institution there, and you have people sell the land and build it houses. In all this, the little planning you had, you're destroying it, yet you cannot control the population. Or maybe you have not seen the correlation between the uncontrolled rise in your population and poverty. And you may think it does not concern you because you have one or two children, but it does. Because if these children that are, I don't want to use the word littered, but if these children that have no future and becomes too cumbersome and burdensome to the society, you cannot enjoy whatever you have gained because they will become nuisance to you. We see them in bandits, Boko Haram. Is it the south now or southeast? We see them in the form of unknown gunmen. You think those unknown gunmen that they have jobs and they have means of livelihood and they go into what they do? That is pure criminality. This is what you get when you elect and when you keep sending people who do not have anything to offer to go represent you, and you yield. Anyway.
That. And they have catered for those populations, but for us, we have not catered for our population, and now we have out-of-school children at 10 million. That's what UNICEF said yesterday, and that's a ticking time bomb.
You know what it means? Some countries in Europe are not up to 10 million, are not up to 1 million. But here you are. Here you are. Twice the population of Singapore is out of school. Twice the population of Singapore is out of school. 1.5% of UK's population, 10.5% or thereabout, is out of school. Let us sink in for a moment, if we understand what that means. About 8.3% of German population is out of school. Jeez. And you have leaders running like rats everywhere on convoy, just running you and I off the street.
We have primary school completion rates of less than 50%. So we are increasing the population size, but I don't want to use the word, it's a very less empowered population. Because children are not completing primary school, out of school children on the increase with insurgency, all the social parameters are on the increase. Nigeria has the highest level of maternal mortality in the world, Nigeria has one of the highest level of under 5 deaths in the world. And all these parameters are coming up to roost. And the shocking thing is that in the hollow chamber where people ought to be talking about unemployment rates, the fact that out of school children is 10 million, they are bragging about their virility. They are bragging about how macho they are in bed. Damn it, lawmakers. We are not here for conversations about that. The country is burning. Pardon my French. The country is burning. We need proper thinking on out of school children. We need proper thinking on maternal mortality. We need proper thinking on population size that is growing out of control. By 2050, Nigeria will be about 500 million population. By the end of this decade, Nigeria might be topping 1 billion. And you have that in a country where there's no infrastructure, where there's no mass transit system. Look at a city like Lagos, with over 20 million people, doesn't have a mass transit system, like a train and metro. These are the conversations. Lawmakers, stop acting like this country is a joke. Because you people are acting like this country is a joke, boasting about your 4 wives and 28 children. A lot of people are looking and they're crying. And they hope you guys get it, but you guys don't get it.
Sorry there, I better.
Well, I honestly, Rafai, there are things you listen, you feel, even as an adult, you feel like crying, you feel like, I don't know what to say. It's the things that shock you, that in this year, in this day and age, someone, for the last time, for the life of me, someone will come like this.
One, Uma, stand up. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. These 4 wives you have seen have produced 27 kids for me. And I'm still counting.
He's still counting. That's why he counted. Now he's on the number 28. I don't know. Maybe it's time to invite Alhaji Kazaure. Ask Alhaji Kazaure, what do you think? I don't know what to do. Alhaji Kazaure. Zoanam.
Our economic is doing like this. It's doing like this. It's blinking, shaking. So
now our economy is blinking, shaking. So the only way you can blink and fix, blink and what is put is for you to actually talk about. I think we must.
When my 7-year-old grandson called me and said, "Grandpa, tell me the truth. Why did they call you Liar Mohammed?"
Okay. In this case, what else can I say? It's you get to a point you just like, I don't know. Everyone, even politicians, even governors, all they think is, many of them, even a sitting governor, all he can say, given an analogy that, the killings in his state in Benue is getting out of hand. But the only analogy probably that can come to him is that when he's on top of his wife, and that's that.
Even when I'm on top of my wife, and I remember the people who are in that DP camp.
You go flat. He has flat tire on top of his wife when he remembers people in the DP camp. Now ask him, what is his plan to systematically get back the people in IDP camp? Maybe his own problem is only the thing worries him to the point of the thing going flat. That's all. It's finished. Sometimes you ask yourself, in the words of Wike, if he didn't dare,
If you don't know what to do with your head, you don't know what to do with your head. If he didn't dare, he didn't dare.
If he didn't dare, because if he didn't dare inside here, he didn't dare inside, there is nothing you can do about it. Because there is no one, even if I bring Buhari now and ask him, Buhari, how is your country, the one you campaigned that you're going to govern properly? If I ask him now, say, Oga Buhari, what is happening? What is your verdict? What will Buhari say?
The government has failed to do its.
Oga, I never finished, Seth. You already telling me what is happening. Oh Jesus, should I bring you back again? But you said the same thing anyway.
The government has failed to do its principal duty of protecting life or property of all beings inside its territory in Nigeria.
Well, now you talk am, not me talk am. It's you that actually said it. Now, does that then bring me to the point? Having listened to this man, and I've been thinking, what sort of engagement would anybody do? And I can only say to the people to be very wary. Do not and you must stop electing cucumbers. Stop electing idiots, known idiots. Stop electing them. Let them, I don't know how to say it, but let them stop parading themselves as your leaders because you keep electing them. There must be a way that, stop just, I don't know, stop rewarding them like President Olusegun Obasanjo would always say, do not reinforce failure. Because many of you reinforced the failure of 2015, and that is why the failure of 2015 metamorphosed also into failure of 2019. Having said so, it will bring me to the second part of this conversation, which is as follows. Yeah, Nelly or Noah, Kenneth. Good evening. So many of you watching me, if you may let me know where you are watching me from, where you're joining me from, I would appreciate that. Good evening, Nelly. Now, the second part of this conversation is obviously, it's as this has been titled, the fallacy of the fallacy of the naivety that many Nigerians exhibit when it concerns Ndigbo. I would explain. There was this trending write-up where people were just writing, in my view, total jargon. I already say, when I hear Igbo presidents and some of the people within the Southeast, or rather every other person would now begin to say, the Southeast is unable to produce a consensus candidate. And I shake my head and I say, who has ever? As if in 2019, anybody ever produced anything called consensus. Or as if in whenever 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015. So why is it that whenever it concerns Ndigbo, we will be hearing such nonsense? Because I call them nonsense. So that's why I want to address this particular topic this evening. Again, as you all know, if you want to take part in this conversation, give me about 5 to 10 minutes, then you may join me if you wish. But it is something that I found a little bit, disturbing when people say that about Ndigbo. And I found it a little bit, honestly, that the Igbos are so naive, that they are this, they are the other one. But now, let me get to the meat of the matter proper. And that is very simple. Let me actually see if I can get the topic, the second topic now. The first topic is gone. So let's get the second topic on the screen. And the second topic is this: the fallacy about Ndigbo and politics. Now, well, we can say the fallacy about Ndigbo and politics as regards. Well, let's leave it at the fallacy level. Now, the question is: if you ask yourself, how come it is only within the Igbo that you will hear such nonsense? How come? Why is it that you don't hear such nonsense with any other set of ethnic nationality, but only you hear people talk about these things about Ndigbo? I had a piece by a brother, that is Agunze Azoka Onwoka, who made a very valid contribution to this topic. And one of his, in his argument, which obviously aligns with mine, aligns with the things I'm going to say, is very simple. How come that you will be in a WhatsApp group, people will be talking about, oh, Okorocha, oh, Peter Obi, oh, this person, oh, so many Igbos are coming out. Why are they not getting one person? Okay, people, what we are going to do is to take you down memory lane. If you don't know, we were going to do that now. Now, I will start by saying that this is a totally false narrative. And this narrative has been peddled over the years. It's virtually nothing than stereotype that Igbos, somewhat make themselves believe that they can never agree on anything. I think that is utter nonsense. That is utter absurdity. No ethnic group or zone agrees on any political issues in Nigeria. That is a fact. Not the Yorubas, not the Bibios, not the Hausas, not the Fulanis, not the Kenuris, not the Nupes. No ethnic nationality, not the Ichos. I will prove it to you. Now, let us start from the First Republic. Recall, well, let's not even go that far. Let's not even go that far. You know what happened in the First Republic? Eventually, we had the checkered history where the military struck and the rest became history. But let's fast forward and come back to 1983. 6 politicians contested that presidential election. 3 of them were from the north, 2 from the southwest, 1 of them from the southeast. Again, he wants the history. In the north, recall, we had, Aminu Kano from the PRP. We had Waziri Ibrahim from the GNPP, I think. Now we had Shehu Shagari from the NPN. These were clearly 3 northerners. In the southwest, we have Chief Obafemi Awolowo, UPN, and Tunji Breadweight from the NAP. And what then happened? In the southeast, we had only one man, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Recall that Aminu Kano controlled Kano. Ibrahim controlled Bonu. Both of them contested against their fellow northerners, Shagari, both in 1979 and in 1983 with an Igbo VP. Despite the risk of splitting the northern votes and making Shagari lose, none of these people ever considered it wise to step down. Now, 3 northern politicians contesting against one another in an election. You have never read any junk. You have never read any nonsense. You have never read any jargon from anyone saying that the North cannot concede power to themselves. Now, imagine if these politicians were Igbo. Think about it for a minute. Imagine that was Odius Okalo, Pius Anyi, and maybe Kingsley Morrell contesting in one election. Imagine what would have happened. But again, let's come back to that. Let's leave that. Let's fast forward. Let's leave the military. Come down to 1999. That many of you watching me, no matter how young now, probably if you are not born then, you must have read about it as well. In 1999, we had Bola Ige and Olufalaye contested the AD ticket from Southwest, both of them from Southwest. Recall, none of them stepped down for order. When Falaye was eventually chosen, Bola Ige was so angry that it led to the division in both AD and Afenfere. Ogbonnayon, former governor of Abia State, now carved into Ebonyi State. What did he do? Ogbonnayon of APP, then eventually ANPP, stepped down for Falaye. Why? Stepped down for Falaye in order for Falaye under ANPP then to contest with Obasanjo. And what then happened? We all know this. The presidential election came. The presidential election, came and gone. On that 1999, you had Bola Ige, you had Falaye, you have Olusegun Obasanjo, three Southwesterners. Eventually, a Southwesterner emerging. Meanwhile, in the PDP primaries, Obasanjo defeated Ekwueme. But because Jim Nwobodo contested in that election, if you recall, in Jos, that was where they did the primaries. Till today, many Igbos, especially the people of Anambra, hold it against Jim Nwobodo. But none of them, and many of us, none of us have ever asked one question. With the amount of vote Jim Nwobodo won, how significant was it? It was very, very insignificant. Even if you give Jim Nwobodo's vote to Ekwueme, Ekwueme wouldn't have won us anyway. But it wouldn't have made any difference. But again, it is something used in vilifying, and somebody, why I'm saying this is that many of you Igbos are also now beginning to join them in peddling this falsehood. One thing we'll do here is to look at these things critically and destroy this narrative against a people, because it is totally wrong. Now, let's go back and say, meanwhile, Bola Ige was not happy that this guy was chosen. Eventually, what happened? While Falaye was angry that Obasanjo was declared the winner of 1999 election, what happened? Obasanjo went to Olufalaye went to court. Olufalaye went to court after losing an election. Imagine if Olufalaye was Igbo. They will tell you that Igbo fight to die, Igbo fight to finish. Ekwueme lost that election. But Ekwueme congratulated Obasanjo, a man who won his own polling unit, because part of the conditions then that you must win your polling unit. But eventually, at the middle of the game, the rule was changed because Obasanjo never won his polling unit. Ekwueme went ahead and campaigned for Obasanjo. Olufalaye went to court. You get the point now. For that election to be won, Ekwueme campaigned for Obasanjo. That election was won. Fast forward to 2007. Let's forget about 2003, the moment of Buhari came into the fray. But at least because that one was no change of power. Let's come to 2007. 2007, you had Muhammadu Buhari, Atiku Abubakar. You had Umar Musa Yar'Adua. You had I think Kwankwaso in 2007. Because I think Shakarau was still the governor then, if I'm not mistaken. You had Aliu Guzo. You had Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, don't forget. These were all Northerners, majority of them from the Northwest. What happened? The election eventually narrowed down to 3 Northern candidates, Muhammadu Buhari, Atiku Abubakar, and Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. 3 of them full-blooded Fulanis. Full-fledged Fulanis. What happened? Very simple. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua won. Buhari went to court in 2011. Nuhu Ribadu, Fulani, Ibrahim Shakarau, your guess is as good as mine. Buhari, your guess is as good as mine. Against who? Goodluck Jonathan. 3 blooded Fulanis again. These are the people that made it to the, to pick their party and became flag bearers. Forget about 50 odds of them from the same north. And what then happens afterwards? Very interestingly, the 2011 election was lost. But again, if you then ask yourself, why didn't they, in order to have won Jonathan, all those 3 Northern candidates merging together to push Jonathan off? No, they couldn't. They all contested. 3 of them lost to Jonathan. Maybe the result would have been different if they joined forces. Nobody is criticizing them. Nobody is crucifying them, because they will now tell you that that is politics. But when it comes to you making your decision, everyone wants to crucify you. That imagine if these 3 politicians, imagine if Nuhu Badu, Ibrahim Shakarau, and Muhammad Buhari were Igbos. They will tell you that is it, because Igbos, they don't agree. Oh, nobody wants to do this. They don't agree. They don't agree. That's why they lost the election. But suddenly, everyone, 3 Fulanis, no one said anything. Come back to 2014, 2015. I'm taking us down memory lane to prove my point. Some of the fiercest opponents of Jonathan were from where? Not southeast, not north, from south. Who led them? The current Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Chibike Amechi. Today, the strongest opposition in Nigeria today, forget PDP, the strongest opposition is from the north. You talk about Buba Galadima, the one that always want to remove Buhari's dross. You talk about Junaid Mohammed. You talk about Hakim Baba Ahmed. You talk about Atiku Abubakar. You talk about Kwankwaso. You talk about Tambowa. You talk about Makarafi. You talk about Dambanzo, Dankwambo. Who amongst them, all of them, Northerners, heaven hasn't fallen. Nobody is writing nonsense and nobody is writing jargon. Imagine if these were Igbos opposing the presidency of their kinsmen. Some would have used this to wax. If in the words of Onwuka says, some would have used this to wax award-winning song. All comedians everywhere. I go die, I go leave, I go bow down, I go lie down. Everybody would have been cracking jokes all over. Everywhere. Igbo. Now, some gubernatorial election had held in recent time. In Bayelsa State, about 20 people were killed because of contest between kinsmen. In Edo, the opposition went to court after the election was lost. In Ekiti, the opposition went to court too. But in Anambra, not only there was no report of violence on election day, the only violence that has ever happened in Anambra is when the unknown men did whatever they did. But electoral violence in the days of election, that somebody died, that somebody was shot, no, you never hear something like that. But in Anambra, that is, there was no report of any violence. All the top contestants congratulated Obiano, congratulated Professor Soludo, vowed not to contest the result despite their misgivings about the conduct of election. And yet somebody will come and tell you Igbos don't like themselves. Igbos don't understand politics, right? People, time to begin to engage our brains. Let us not assimilate the narrative being pushed out. I don't care by who, but this narrative is getting so annoying that sometimes you read them, you cannot sit back and say, okay, let's keep quiet. No, come on, frontally address this nonsense. So if you look at it, if you take Anambra, for instance, how can a people that hate themselves, yet they allow themselves, they think that the election does not warrant and worth the blood of anybody dying in their state? You saw the one who went to court from the APC. You saw how everyone suddenly disassociated themselves from him. You saw from Valentine Ozibo, the candidate of PDP, when the moment he saw he lost the election, well, he had his misgivings, but he congratulated him. He called him my senior brother. That is it for us. You saw it. But yet, somebody would say, oh, no, that's not it. Interestingly, when the Igbos speak with so-called one voice, because everybody will tell you, oh, Igbos don't speak with Igbos don't speak with one voice. Igbos are so united. Igbos are so disjointed. Yet, when Igbos decide to speak with one voice, like they did in 2015 and 2019, the same people that do not want your progress will come and tell you, oh, Igbos, they are putting all their eggs in one basket. Waiting Igbos do now. The egg now you lay I be the basket now your own. It be dead body from Oyibo, they carry you up. No. They carry you down. No. They carry you sideways. No. Leave Igbos alone, they figure it out. I'm not saying that they are the best in such decision making, but man, the failure is sometimes pronounced elsewhere than what we make it to be here. The bottom line, do not say that Igbos are clannish, because they're not. The bottom line is people are there to say something most times, and allow them to. Reason why I'm only addressing this is that in many groups that I belong on WhatsApp, people have shared this like mad, criticizing Igbos for this and the other one, and everybody saying, oh, 2023 is the Igbo's turn. Oh, but Igbos cannot produce one person. Tell me who has ever produced one person. Was it done in 1979? Was it done in 1983? Was it done in 1999? Was it done in 2003, 7, 11, 15? And was it done in 2019? The answer is simple no. Why then do you want to change the rule of the game in the middle of the game, people? Think, and let's be wise. Think. The bottom line, like I keep saying, is that the narrative people like us must maintain it, that these are a thinking people. The narrative that something is wrong with the Igbos must stop. It is not that the Igbos are disunited. No. I dare say to you, there is no ethnic nationality in Nigeria that is more united than the Igbos, globally. The only people you will see when they move from Aba to Lagos, within the shortest period of time, they will look for where they have their kinsmen's meeting. You go to London, you go to America, you go to Germany, they are everywhere. They have meeting, they have states, they have, in major cities, they have the Igbo Union, they have town union. Some that are also large in number have village union too. I was stunned the other day in London. I was invited to, I think they said it's Ichinewi meeting. And I'm like, wow. So you have Newi meeting and you have Ichi meeting. You're getting that. And yet you call the same people disunited? Come on now. Give them a break, people. Give them a break. Give them a break. At the end of the day, what I can only do is to keep preaching and keep saying and talking common sense to us. We have a duty to keep debunking these fake and nonsensical narrative because it does not represent the fact. The facts are obvious. And I might conclude with this. Recall in 2015 when the Igbos didn't vote and everybody was shouting, you hated the man in question, you didn't vote him, you put all your egg in one basket, or you that split your egg in 20 baskets, how market? When they began to yamo to everybody anybody, when our parents couldn't go to the farm, was anybody asking you which party you vote for or who you vote for before you could go to farm? Listen, incompetence is incompetence. Igbos know Chinese, and they know Taiwan, and they know original, and they know fake from afar. What they see. What they see, you fit climb Iroko tree before you can see it. So that's it, people. There is no two ways about it. There is no absolutely two ways about it. So, that's my view. That's my view. If you disagree with me, you wish to call the number on the screen, then, if you're in a very well lit area that you may wish to join me, of course, yes, you can. I mean, why not? Let's have a conversation. We can share the link for you to join the studio. The link is on the comment section, or you can call the number. Ideally, I would want to hear, let's debate this narrative, which I consider a false narrative. I said the fallacy about Ndigbo and politics. Because it's a fallacy. It's not something that is anchored on fact. It's something that is conjured. I'm not saying the Igbos don't have their thing. Of course they do. But to now say, oh, they don't understand it, they're always against themselves, they do this, then I'm like, wait a minute. How? What am I missing, people? What am I missing? You can ring in and tell me, what do you think? Okay? So, again, in the absence of that, I have said my mind and I am happiness more.
All right. Have you voted?
I'm voted, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm happiness, I'm voted, yeah.
Tell me your feeling after voting today.
Yeah, after voting, I'm feeling okay. What I want, I get it on the result. I'm getting the party I want is the one going on. Thank you for that.
What are you expecting from these people you voted?
I'm voted, they can do what you want, and then when they want, what they want, inshallah, we're happiness more, isn't it? So then please, I want to beg them, we suffer almost 10 hours, we are standing because of what we want. We need change. And then the person we need, he's the one on the party we want, isn't it? So please, we want change.
Change? What kind of change?
The change of situation which we are now.
What is the situation you are in?
Situation of sufferness. Isn't it? Yeah, we are suffer. How many years? As you see, 12 years forward. I mean, almost 40-something years. I don't know what his government did for me. It's come out of this like this radio. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, yeah. I have to complain. I'm in Nigeria, really. Almost 40-something years. I don't know what his government. So I need change. And the person I know is going to change this thing by force, whether the leader they want or not. Any person which is bad, he must escape in this country, or he be hidden like how they are hiding a poor people inside prison, which you don't have a court attendant. Inshallah, we need Buhari to change this country.
Inshallah. You sorry. You got what you bargained for, isn't it? So I wish I can find him. Let me ask him. Sorry, pardon me. I wish I can find him. I asked him how he's enjoying the Shen. Let me see if the situation of sufferness. Let me see if the situation of sufferness has disappeared. Hmm? Because if I ask the same person that he brought in, he will say
The government has failed to do its principal duty of protecting life or property of.
Yeah, he said the government have failed. The principal duty that while you were brought in, you failed have been an issue anyway. But even at that, a man who traveled abroad and came back and was asked, now that you're back, you've rested, probably with new vigor and with new energy, what is going to happen? You know what he said? He said that the IG is losing weight, therefore he's walking a comeback.
Are we likely to see a different approach in the fight against insecurity, especially kidnapping, which is a big issue now, sir?
No, I have just seen the IG. I think he is still losing weight, so I think he's working very hard.
So, Mazi, before my trouser is 36, now my trouser is 35.2. And so I'm losing weight, I work very hard. I work very hard everywhere. I work very hard in the office. I work very hard in the street. I work very hard in the other room. Everywhere I go, I work me very hard. Kagani. By 2023, when I go receive change. 2023, when I go old people's home again, all right? On a serious note, 2023, when I go old people's home, go and get somebody from old people's home, make him your president. You want to tilt your farm, a farmland that you need heavy tractors. You go and get a Beetle, Beetle, 1.2 liter engine or 1.0. And you be driving the Beetle around. And you say, you want to tilt which ground? How can you tilt a ground with such? Anyway, let me take some of your questions and we'll call it a day. So, I think some of the questions are not related to this. Anyway, let me attempt this. Steve Moore Ali says, please, I just want to know if any arrangement for foreign airlines coming to Enugu or Anambra Airport. Of course, foreign airline is already in Enugu, which is Ethiopia Airline. There are conversations ongoing. I think Qatar Air did have license under Odua to actually fly into Enugu. It's part of their the schedule that was given, but again, I don't know why. I'm also aware that there are conversations happening with Turkish Airlines to also come in there. So I mean, on Anambra Airport, of course, in due time, Anambra State in Anambra Airport Umueri, Anambra what am I saying? Anambra International Cargo and Passenger Airport Umueri would eventually come on stream. Eventually, also, let's just be patient. A lot is happening. I was in Ebonyi the other day. I was impressed. So the video is going to come out. A lot is happening, people. Ebonyi, amongst the four airports in the southeast now, Ebonyi remains my favorite, the best, because the design alone makes a lot of sense. But again, until you see the videos, you understand what I mean. So, people, I think that's it. Yeah. So, people, I think Matthew Chizoba says he's watching from Barcelona. Okay, Matthew Chizoba, you're watching from Barcelona. The Mars is okay, it's here. So, people, you join me on Saturday. On Sunday, 5:30 Nigerian time. One of the best interviews you would ever had in your life is going to be aired on Saturday. It's going to be live. Join so that we can take your questions. It's going to be my one-on-one conversation. It's going to be a one-on-one conversation with Mr. Peter Obi. I would encourage you to. I think many of you probably might have watched my casual interview that I had with him in his house, and the positions that he took there, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. Because if you recall in that interview, he was actually saying, well, we need to plan a proper interview, and that proper interview is what you are about to see. You cannot see that anywhere. You can only see that here. It's the interview is hold no, hold no. There is nothing to hide, nothing to hold back. Is hold no. You know, this is the flyer here. So it's going to be a one-on-one with Peter Obi, and that is going to be on Sunday, the 30th, the last day, 30th of January 2022. The time is 18 o'clock, which is 6 o'clock Nigerian time and 7 o'clock UK time. So do the translation in your time zone. You not regret to have spent the time. Many of you are saying that the other interview was too short, that you want a longer interview. This time around, we are getting the longest of it, and you will have time to ask him questions. Right questions. The questions, nothing is off the table. We are going to be speaking about the Pandora Papers, his business, his ideas about Nigeria, his ideas about Southeast, what drives him to live the way he lives, a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things. And also, if you wish to have a question sent in advance, you could at any time please send me your questions to at maziezoke at gmail.com or njenjemedia@gmail.com. These questions will be compiled and we will see you on Saturday. But also, do not forget to join my hangout on Friday. Friday hangout with Maziezoke, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. We will always endeavor to do the best we can. I am still Maziezoke, and I say good night, everyone, from here